Hello all and welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over the parameters on the Carel controllers, focusing on refrigerators. So of course the way that we get into our settings on the Carel controllers, just hold the set key until you see the letters PS show up. Then press the set key again, it'll change to 0, run it up to 22. This is our password to get in, and then press set, and we're back to PS, and now we're in the parameters. You press the up arrow, it'll change to /3. Press set, and of course that is set to 1. /3 is our probe display rate. This is how long between actual temperature change as to when it gets displayed on the display itself. So there is a 1 minute lag. /5 is the selection between Celsius and Fahrenheit, 1 being Fahrenheit, 0 being Celsius. Of course, we want to leave this one in Fahrenheit, so we're on 1. If you press the up arrow there, you get to -C1. -C1 is your probe 1 offset. So if your temperature display shows 32 and the actual box temp is 38, you could run this up to 6 and press set, and it would make it to where the display showed 38. These are set to 0 from the factory. Both C1 and C2 are probe offsets. C2 is for your evaporator probe, which doesn't exist in an actual refrigerator, so the C2 code doesn't really matter here. RD is your temperature differential. This is the basically the offset on the unit. So if you set it to 32 degrees, it'll cool down to 32. Then it'll kick off. It'll wait 6 degrees before it kicks back on, and then cools back down to 32 degrees. This is, of course, 6 from the factory. And then R1 is 32. R1 is your minimum set point. On a refrigerator, it's 32 degrees. R2 is your maximum set point, and on our refrigerators, it's 41 degrees. C0. C0 is your compressor and fan delay after power up. This is normally set to 3 minutes. So this is basically when you power the unit on, it goes through its test cycle, and then it waits 3 minutes before it actually powers on the compressor and starts cooling. C2. C2 is your minimum compressor off time. This is normally set to 5 minutes. Minimum compressor off time is basically if the unit, for instance, was to cool down to 32 degrees and then somebody propped the door open and it went up above the 6 degree differential before the 5 minute delay, it would wait the entire 5 minute delay before actually kicking the unit back on. DO. DO is the type of defrost. On refrigerators, it's set to 2. 2 is it runs just the fans with no compressor. D1 is your interval between defrosts and hours, and we have it set to 6 from factory, and that's basically that. DT. DT is your defrost termination temperature. It is set to 55 from factory. This is basically if the unit gets up to 55 degrees Fahrenheit during defrost, it will automatically terminate the defrost and kick back on and start cooling again. D2. D2 is set to 29 degrees. It's your evap start time or evap fan start temp after defrost. This is always set to 29 degrees on all of our units, even the freezers. DP is 30. DP is the maximum defrost duration. This is 30 minutes on a refrigerator. So once the unit goes into defrost, it can only be in defrost for 30 minutes. DD is your drip time after defrost. This is set to 2. This is how long the unit will wait after defrost is complete before actually kicking back on and cooling back down. A0. A0 is set to -1. This is an alarm and fan temperature differential. It's set to -1 on all of our units. AL. AL is your low temperature alarm threshold. This is set to negative 50 on this unit, and on all of our units really. Um, we do this because, I mean, the unit will never get down below negative 50. AH is your high alarm threshold. This is set to 90 on all of our units. And this is set this way because, of course, we don't want to set it to somewhere right above your temperature differential. Um, we wouldn't want your alarm going off all the time. AD. AD is your low and high temperature alarm delay. This is set to 0 on all of our units. This is the amount of time it would wait before actually alarming you once it goes above the high alarm or the low alarm. A4 is 6, and A4 is actually the door switch control for this unit. Currently is set to 6 for magnet door switches, which our new Carel controllers primarily go in units that have magnet door switches. If you see one in a unit that has a white door switch, you're going to want to set this to 0. A7 is your digital alarm input delay. So this is how long it delays um, before actually alarming when it detects an alarm. So that's always set to 0. F0. F0 is your evaporator fan control, enable and disable. It's always set to 1 to enable. F1 is your evap fan control set point. This is set to 90 on a refrigerator. Basically, if the unit goes above 90 degrees, the evap fans will turn off. F2. Um, this is your stop evap fan. If the compressor is off, this is basically it telling it to, it's always set to 2 on all of our units, and it's basically telling it to turn the evaporator fan off when the compressor is off. And it actually cycles it back and forth on and off. So F3 is your evap fan status during defrost. Um, on this one, 0, it's set to 0, which means that the fan will run during defrost. If it were set to 1, then the fan would be off during defrost. But this is a refrigerator, so we're leaving it on 0. F3 is your evap fan status during defrost. And I think I just went over that. Yeah, I did. FD. FD is your post-dripping time. This is set to 0 on a refrigerator. Can be set higher than that. It just depends. This is basically how long it waits after doing a defrost for it to allow the unit to drip down so that it doesn't blow water out of the evaporator. So F4. F4 is your fan delay time. This is also basically the same thing FD is. It's just a delay. So for the fan itself, for after defrost. F5 is set to 1, and F5 is set to 1 on refrigerators and on freezers. This is the fan on time. So when the compressor meets its temperature and shuts off, it starts cycling the fan on, off, on, off. This is how long it's on, which is 1 minute. And then F6 is how long it's off, which is 5 minutes. And that's on all of our units. The F7 code is your fan delay time after the door closes. This is set to 0 on refrigerators. It's set to 10 on freezers. This is in seconds. So when you close the door on the unit, the fan will kick right back on a refrigerator. On a freezer, it'll wait 10 seconds before energizing the fan again. F8 is your fan forced to start time during the door open. So this is set to 5 on all of our units. This is in minutes. So if the door is open for 5 minutes or more, then the fan will kick on and start running. This is set in there as a safety, pretty much. So if you have like a failed door switch, your door switch, will still show the DO code on the display, but the fan will actually run after a 5-minute timer. Past that, that's the last code in the menu. So to save and get out, we just hold the set key down for 3 full seconds. It'll click back to our temperature display, and off we go. And you can see now that it's clicking back and forth between DO and 74. That's because this controller is a dummy controller and I don't actually have a door switch connected to it. So um, basically it's going to go back and forth between it. But you can see that our fan icon is actually on, which tells you that it's past the 5 minute timer for the F8 code. So past that, I hope this video was informative. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and of course, thank you for watching.